Hello, hello, hello. Nicholas, hello. Oh, you're there already with a message. Fantastic. I am feeling more relaxed this evening because, even though I'm wearing a slightly strange shirt, this is not a live reading session, and I was beginning to find them a bit too much. Not because of any of you guys being difficult, but uh, I think it was because of mixing the Q&As with the lives, and they're two different things, and it was kind of slightly requiring a lot of concentration to do both in the same session. So I think Q&A would be quite interesting tonight, and also I'd really like to have an opportunity to talk to you guys, the people who like my channel. Hello, El Phillips. Good evening. Just saying, just talking this evening, and not really reading unless something really comes up that we want to read something. But I wanted to ask you guys, hi Suzanne. I wanted basically to ask you guys' advice about live reading on YouTube. What's the best way of doing it? Hello, Aquarius Moon. Hi, everyone's here. Great. I'm so much more relaxed this evening. So the theme of the evening is what's the best way of doing live readings? I've made it this evening. I've made it so that it's subscribers only, which it doesn't exactly make a big difference because anyone can subscribe. But I think it's less likely that people will will be trawling through the internet, scrolling through, and they'll just chance on me looking strange, and they'll just click on and they'll troll it a bit. Hi Redwing. Hi, welcome. So yeah, is there a good way of doing live streams with live readings? Is it fair on me that I'm open to the whole world and I say that I will read for everyone, and I have this attitude that I will read for everyone? And I get so many questions of, what does this person I've got a crush on, what do they think of me? I think that's fine, that question, but how many times can you answer it? Okay, El Philip says, why not set aside 15 minutes at the end of the live stream for fortunes? Hi, Nicholas. Now you're here for real. Thanks, El Phillips. I think it's not fair, and it's not possible for me to just take on all comers. I think the thing about, I used to do live streams on YouTube, and I would pick and choose, and I would just choose the questions I wanted to answer. And then it was unfortunate. There was a woman in Australia, and she got up in the middle of the night or early in the morning, and she wanted to tune in, and she placed a question, and I didn't answer it, and she was really disappointed. So I'm not quite sure. It may be that the sessions need to be mainly Q&A, and we throw in every now and then a reading just like at random, so that it's not like a matter of queuing up. It's a matter of you're here because you want to talk to me and talk about tarot. And if someone has a really pressing problem and it's interesting to do a tarot reading on it, great. Or if we want to experiment with a new type of spread, then maybe someone can come up with a reading. But I see it more of a kind of like a club night, a chat night. I don't want to set myself up, but with me sharing what I've found out about tarot and what I think about tarot, and just sharing that with you, and you also giving me your tips. Al Phillips says, or perhaps a collective question, or just one question that we could all concentrate on and read together. I think that's quite possible, actually. I think that would be easy. I think that would be interesting. Collective questions. There was a time when I was even doing political questions because I was just very interested to know what the tarot could handle. I'm now coming back to myself, and I actually don't like mixing politics and spirituality because I think they're two different levels of experience. So I would probably avoid politics, but there could be a collective question about, what's in the air, how are we all feeling? Hi, Large Tarot, welcome. We're just talking about a good way of doing live streams with regard to tarot. Live reading online. I mean, I like the idea of having a doctor's surgery, but it's been chaotic. It's been a lot to deal with in the past. I think I've been doing these live streams for about 12 weeks now, on and off. It's been quite a lot of work. Okay, if your focus is more didactic, I would say more didactic live streams. If you want to grow your reading business, then most likely the opposite. Yeah, well, hi David. That's quite sensible. When I started off doing YouTube, I thought it was to grow my reading business, because in the 90s, when I was a young thing, I had an advert in a newspaper, and I used to read. People used to come to my house. There was no internet, and I was a professional tarot reading, like some tarot readers, sometimes 5 in a day, in, out, and it was a very nice job. And I thought I would be able to repeat that in the 2020s. Haha. But the internet is now flooded. So I'm more, I think, of an author and a video maker now. Karen, I have learned so much from seeing you read. Exploring one question in depth makes a lot of sense. Okay. I think there's something in that. I suppose if I am didactic, I think I would like these sessions to have the atmosphere, if you like, of a workshop, so that you people who turn up, you've subscribed, and you're interested in tarot. You're not just here because you want to know if your crush has feelings for you. Do you know what I mean? It's a different emphasis. So if I felt I was surrounded by people who were here to learn and exchange and also help me, then we could read together, or I could read and you could comment, and that would be interesting. Saranglo says, hello everyone, good evening Robert. Good evening, Saranglo. And Nemozony5 says, I like that evening at L. Phillips. Workshop idea is brilliant. Workshop idea, yes. Good. Well, we could in that case, we could say that this evening is our first workshop. And I also want to say, guys, that partly because I'm feeling I have too much on my plate, because I am writing my book, my tarot book at the moment, and it needs to get off the ground and up and running, and it needs to get onto Kickstarter. So I'm doing too much. I'm releasing a video every week. I don't think I can do a live every week. I think there's going to be a break until March. I won't do one next week, and I probably won't do another one in February, but I will start doing them again in March. But of course, you can always say hi in the comments under the videos. Saranglo says, I think many of us would love the idea of a workshop. Great. Ooh, a tarot book, exciting. I hope so. I hope so. It's going to look very good because it's going to be very nicely designed. Well, I'm going to start the ball rolling by saying, I don't know whether you saw my video, my tarot haul of 2023, that one of my decks of 2023 was this, the Egyptian Art Nouveau Tarot. I occasionally like buying a low Scarabeo deck if I think it's, if I think it's sound, if I think it's clearly sticking to my Rider-Waite system that I work with. And this is not the most amazing deck in the world, but I just wanted to have it. Oh, there's lots of stuff happening. Can I turn the question around? What would you like from us? Suzanne, well, from you guys, what I would like, which I'm getting already, is advice about how to do the live streams. I'd also like you just to tell me which of the videos you find most helpful and most interesting. Are you going to finish the ... Aquarius Moon says, do you mean the book? Yes, I am. 999 understands being overwhelmed by YouTube. YouTube is a lot of work to get it off the ground. L. Phillips, no, there will be no Celtic cross at the end of my book. Well done for noticing how bad the Celtic cross is, or at least how overworked it is. What about finishing the project of 2-3 words for every card? Aquarius Moon, I have recorded that video, and it comes out, I think, in February. This week, it might even come out next Sunday, actually. David says, if you actually ever, what's the word, hit you guys up for lots of money, it could be a few bucks here and there. But in the end, I want YouTubing let's rephrase that. I want taroting to be my profession again, like it was in the 90s. And for that to happen, there needs to be some kind of income stream. So if the videos get monetized, that is income. But, on YouTube, for example, you can have paid memberships. They could be anything per month. Presumably they could be €1 per month. They could be 2, 3, 4. And then people who had a paid membership could attend the workshops. I think that's the direction it's going. There could be more public live streams and less public live streams. Nicholas enjoys the tuition videos, and L. Phillips likes the book reviews. Funnily enough, I'll tell you something, the book reviews get me the most views and probably the most new subscribers. I think the book reviews are the bit of my channel which is most niche. I think I enjoy making tuition videos, but I think I have quite a lot of competition there. And I think with the book reviews, there's just a little bit less competition. And also I'm very opinionated with my book reviews. Suzanne says, I haven't seen a video I didn't enjoy. Can't say that about a lot of others, thank you. To me that says a lot. Always something to learn and laugh. Thank you very much. I mean, what I've got on my plan for this year is something that there'll be 4 videos a month, most months. And one will be a monthly reading, one will be a deck review, one will be a book review, and one will be a tuition. So it's quite evenly spread. And then there are 3 months in the year where there are 5 Sundays. And in those months, I'm going to take the opportunity to have a slight break and just release only 3 videos. So it'll be sort of fortnightly in those longer months. So that's just my crazy way of taking a breather. 999 ASMR Tarot, how well do live streams do for watch time? Medium well. I find the YouTube analytics a bit tricky to read, actually, especially on my level where I'm just sort of getting off the ground. I'm not quite sure whether I find them strictly accurate. I seem to be clocking out many more hours. I'm clocking out like 500 hours of watch time per month, which seems a lot, but when you look at the individual videos, it's like 5 or 8 or something. So I'm not quite sure how those analytics work. The live streams kind of medium, but I'm really trying to monetize at the moment, and I'm nearly there, which is why I've been kind of working very hard in the last 2 or 3 months. I love how you write deck purchases off as a business expense. Well, it is, and it's also expensive. Karen says, I like the reading videos and would love to support a tuition structure. Okay, that's really interesting, Karen. And after this live stream is finished, everyone, I'm going I'm going to read all your comments again. This is very, very valuable. I might not be able to respond conversationally to them all right now, live in the moment, but this is very, very helpful. So Wrangler says, I find those videos when you read for someone very helpful and entertaining. It helps those of us who find the many possible meanings overwhelming, see them presented in a context. Yes, and I thank you. And I think that's really why I wanted to do live reading, because I think that tarot is an intuitive thing, and it's almost something that can't really quite be taught in words or in a book. It's something about an attitude, you know. I was taught a lot of my spiritual practice, my psychic practice, by a friend of mine called Keith Brazil. And he just put us through a lot of exercises to help us to let go of our mind, you know, and to help let go of our skepticism and our disbelief. And he was kind of like pushing us and shocking us into just saying what came into our heads. And I think with sort of psychic practices, that's very important, because we're brought up in this world to not listen to our intuition. And so it's getting over that. I think that's a lesson that I would love to pass on to everybody. And it's not really something that can be passed on in a book. L. Phillips, I read in the Lenormand to clarify a tarot reading to see how this live... Oh, you read? Or you read to see how this live will go. House, cross, dog, size, ring. Okay, that sounds very interesting. I'll just say hello, Caroline, or Carolyn. Red Ring says, I enjoy all your videos. And Karen agrees with Saranglo. Yeah. It's overwhelming for people around, Robert, too, very understandable. L. Phillips, do you mean it's that these lives are overwhelming for the audience? There was one where that soldier from the Ukraine turned up and was a bit trolly. And he turned up and was like calling me names. And at the same time that was happening, there were these charming and innocent people from around the world coming online and saying, does my crush have feelings for me? And it was almost like my head almost exploded. I was trying to, and then, you know, you guys were there giving me your intelligent questions about the tarot, which were the most interesting thing. And I was trying to be, you know, the perfect live stream human being and respond to all three of those threads. And I was also trying to be nice to the soldier in the Ukraine, because I thought it would be great to give him a tarot reading and, you know, help, and to stop him being such a difficult person. It was crazy. Your partner must be cringing. My partner's not watching. He's in the kitchen making dinner. Carolyn B, I will never understand trolls. I kind of understand trolls. It's very easy just to be bitchy, isn't it? Yes, and 999 says, yes, not very many people do live tarot readings on YouTube that I know about. It's very educational. That's interesting. That's interesting. I thought people did, but if they don't, you know, maybe I could do one live one a month, and maybe on the other, you know, like in between, fortnightly, I could just have a Q&A, and maybe all those could be subscribers only, so that it would at least put up a very small sort of firewall to reduce the you know, the disruption. Yes, at least one. Okay, I'm going to make a note, but I will read these comments. Okay, so we do, let's say we do one live readings live stream per month. And I would suggest if I do fortnightly, then the other one can be a sort of like a workshop night, and we could actually experiment. I could tell you what I've read about in the previous month, and you can tell me what you think, and we could maybe do like a sample reading. Let me go back a bit. I almost blocked the troll. I know you asked for pre-submitted questions. Do you ever get any? No, never. I think I've stopped asking for pre-submitted questions. I've never got one. I used to on the old Facebook days. Linda. There are a lot of live tarot readers, mostly American, at least one every day. Okay, I thought so, Linda. Hi, I thought so. Karen, I just love your authenticity and listening to your thoughts. Thank you. Hello, Nocturnal. I'm just thinking, okay, that's very supportive, everybody. I'm just thinking if there's anything we can actually experiment with today. I just read a book. I'll show you the book. I read a book by Yolanda Robinson. I think she's a South American lady. She writes in English. I think she lives in the States, but I think she's Hispanic. And she's very into Kabbalah. Now, I'm not into Kabbalah. I can't do it. It doesn't agree with me. But she's just a very intelligent, very classy writer. And you can find something interesting in all of her books. She said never put more than 11. She thinks that spreads should have an odd number of cards in them, like, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And she says never put more than 11 cards down on the table. I mean, these Kabbalistic people, they're very precise. What do you guys think? Because I have some spreads that have 12 cards in, and I was thinking, funnily enough, when I do the 12 house spread, there's always one house I never like reading, and that is the first house, the house that just applies to, you. And people say, oh, that can be self-image, but I find I just can't, if I pick up a tarot card for someone's self-image, here we are, the King of Pentacles, what does that say about the person? That they think they are rich, but they are not, or they think they are generous, but they are not. I can't quite see how that would help to have that in a reading. So I thought I could adapt the 12 house reading and just use 11 cards and leave out the first house and just always have the first house with the card face down. And that could be like really unusual. What do you think? Hello, Miss Fiona. Linda de Gonzalez says, oh yes, please, I love experiments. Some British channels, tarot channels, do live readings on the Sabbat only. Oh my goodness. I hardly know what a Sabbat is, actually, but I can kind of guess. Aquarius. Interesting, the nature is based on uneven numbers, yet in astrology we have 12 houses. I like odd-numbered spreads too. That is interesting, isn't it? I like odd-numbered spreads. I like the 7-card spread. I like 3-card sort of relationship spreads, or spreads that apply to a meeting or a session. You, me, the audience, you, me, the relationship. Yes, I mean, yes, I think so. I know, and because people get, there's something exciting, and I don't mean that I want to tease people, but there is something exciting about a card that you never see. I'm trying to think of an example of cards that you never see. There is a ritual that you can do where you're trying to shift the energy of a situation, and you have the situation symbolized by one card, and then the solution symbolized by another card, and you have both these cards on your windowsill, and over the course of a week, the solution card moves towards the problem card, like by the width of one card per day. What I do is I have like 6 face down cards between the problem and the solution. And I go move, 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 move. But you never see what's in the face down cards. They're just kind of specifying the distance between the 2 cards. And I put this spread on I made a video about this spread. It's called How to Solve Any Problem in 7 Days. And there was this guy or girl who said, "You mean you don't turn the other 6 cards up? I can't bear it, I can't bear it." I thought that was quite funny. But it's great to have cards that you never see. Suzanne, I like that idea. It feels like a grounding for the rest of the cards. Yes, I think it does. I like odd numbers because then you have a central figure. Sometimes I like to read 5 cards from the center out. I'm doing a How to Solve a Problem in 7 Days video. I had another idea about the 12 house reading that would, in a sense, reduce it to 11 cards, which would be that you could put a significator, pop it down in the first house. Okay, so you basically, that is not a card that you have drawn from the pack at random, and it's not really a part of the reading. I also quite like that. And with me, it would be the Magician, because the problem for me with significators is I don't like losing a card from the pack. Like, why would you want to lose the King of Pentacles? He's so great. Why would you want to lose the Queen of Swords? Why would you want to lose the Fool or the Hanged Man? But I have to say that the Magician has always been my least favorite card. Over the years, I've never really quite bonded with the Magician, because for me, I think the whole tarot pack is a magician, and it seems odd that you have a magician in this magical tarot pack sort of symbolizing the whole thing. So I would say to my quid, let's have a significator in the first house and let's use the Magician. So I take the Magician out of the pack and put it in the first house, and then we're all happy. At least I am. El Phillips has started to peak at my Solving a Problem in 7 Days video. Linda says, use a significator in the first. Okay, so we have invented, or I, with your approval, have invented a way of doing an 11 card reading. Sometimes I continue to flip cards like I'm having a conversation with the cards. That's interesting, and I've seen people do that on YouTube. I've seen some like often American people who are like good at with the flow of talk. I've seen people just talking and laying cards down, card with a real flow. And in fact, I knew a very good card reader in Brighton who used to do that. She used to just talk to me while taking cards from the top of the deck and turning them over, and she was just talking, and this flow of cards was feeding her. She was channeling basically, and the cards were feeding the channeling. It was very interesting. I think you've got to be very up and running to do that, but it's a different thing, isn't it? But Carolyn, if you're doing it, that sounds fantastic. 999. Maybe you need an assistant or a moderator to do live readings. Yes, yes, maybe. There's a very nice, a very attractive couple who used to read on YouTube and then TikTok. They're called Jan and Lara. I think he's Dutch and she's from East Europe, and they were in this unheated barn, but they were quite beautifully dressed and nice looking. And because there were 2 of them, I think one was I think they had a system that one would take the messages and one would read the card, or then they would flip round, and they were kind of supporting each other. And I had the feeling that because it was a team, it was easier for them to handle. They were awfully nice. I've lost contact with them now, but they must be somewhere. Jan and Lara, if you ever see them, or you could search for them. They're really great. They're really nice. So yeah, an assistant or a moderator. I mean, the thing is that at the moment everything's very contained. Though I notice actually there are more people watching today than usual. I mean, maybe that's because with YouTube the audience naturally grows because of the algorithm, or maybe it's because the Q&A format has attracted more people. Anyway, it feels at the moment, at the level that I'm at with my channel, it feels still sort of relatively under control. I think if it was twice as many people tuning in, it would be more difficult to handle. Persnickety, I'm a new subscriber and I'm excited by everything you're talking about. I'm going to find your solution in 7 days video. Okay. And just complete disclosure, the solution in 7 days, it comes from a book by Marcus Katz, K-A-T-Z, called Tarosophy, you know, like philosophy, but tarosophy. And he's into NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And his books are difficult to read, but full of very creative ideas. And that's one of the things, he helps you to use tarot cards to kind of, to sort of change the way that your mind is going, change the direction that your mind is going in order to help you to find solutions to things. It's kind of rituals and a bit of self-hypnosis and things like that. David says, yes, makes a comment. The magician is doing that dance move from Saturday Night Fever. Maybe that's why you dislike him. Well, I quite like Saturday Night Fever, actually, David. But part of the reason why I dislike the magician is because I'm beginning to think, I mean, I've been reading tarot for 45 years and I've been researching tarot for 4 years. So I've gone into a different sort of mode. And having researched it for 4 years, I'm beginning to think that I don't particularly like the esoteric side of tarot. I think it's Age of Pisces. I think Age of Aquarius is more intuitive, and I think the Age of Aquarius wants things to be easy and accessible and sort of accessible to everybody, which is why part of my mission is to make tarot accessible and not more difficult and not complicated and not sort of confusing, which is why I was so rude about Rachel Pollack's book, because I think it's over complexifying. So I think the reason why I don't like some of the major arcana in the RWS because it's so to do with Golden Dawn. Pamela was in the Golden Dawn and she took stuff from the Golden Dawn, but she wasn't kind of like a high Golden Dawn adept. She was just a fantastic, lively, psychic person. And then she was given a bit of freedom and she created this very user-friendly minor arcana. And then that took us, in a sense, into the New Age. That was taken up by the hippies. And now we have tarot everywhere. And I'm not really looking for a magician or a high priest or a high priestess. I'm interested in the juggler and the Pope and the female Pope. I'm kind of interested in pre-esoteric tarot, but I'm not quite sure of my position yet. So I need to do more and more and more reading until I really know what I'm talking about. L. Phillips, I use the Fool because it's 0. 0 isn't a number. Taking out a card is difficult. Yes, it is. Carolyn, it sounds like you're doing something very interesting. And I've been watching a channel called I think it's called Next Level Soul on YouTube, and it's a guy interviews channelers and mediums and people who've had near-death experiences. And I saw a woman doing conscious channeling yesterday. When she didn't go into trance, she just remained herself and just was passing on messages from the guides in a flowing way. And that was very interesting. Maybe you're doing something like that. I agree. The Fool feels. I think yes. I think the Fool classically is a significator card. People do use the Magician. I think the Fool and the Magician are kind of, in a sense, they're quite close to each other. They're the first two starters, aren't they? But you see, I like having the Fool in the pack. I wouldn't want to lose the Fool, because for me, the Fool is a very readable card and a very strong energy, and an energy that I like to know where it is, the Fool. And if it falls in a reading, I'm excited. Oddly enough, I'm not so excited if I see the Magician. Robin French, hello. Hi, how are you? How nice to see you. I just saw your name today or yesterday in my book of people I've done readings for. L. Phillips, Robert, do you have a publisher? No, I'm going to publish myself, probably going to go onto Kickstarter and self-publish and do a small run, and maybe 50 or 100 people will pre-order it and it'll pay for itself. I think the publishing industry is a bit in the doldrums at the moment, and I think that publishers tend to watch Kickstarter and they let the authors do the work, you know, and take the risk, and then they will cherry pick the projects on Kickstarter that are most successful. But you know, if you know a publisher who you can ring up, then I am looking. Carolyn, so Rob, what card do you think represents you? I always feel like the Chariot card. Carolyn, I don't use, I'm not very into significators, so I don't have a quick answer for you there. I would tend to go for court cards, and I would tend to go, I suppose I would go for a knight or a king. I suppose the King of Cups is the nearest to me. I mean, maybe not when I'm on YouTube performing, but I think in private, as a whole person, I think King of Cups. Aquarius Moon, that is why I'm drawn to your readings. That's nice, thank you. David, you're talking about the magician in the Marseille Tarot. He's the bachelor. He's trying to con you. I do find that interesting, which is why ideally I would like a deck, and you have that with the Marseille Weight Tarot. I would like a deck which had Marseille majors and RWS minors, because I really need a battler. I really need a juggler, because I think to have a major arcana card who is basically a con man is very interesting, because I think he really is creating something out of nothing. He's creating money out of snake juice. You know, he's selling kind of a lie, but he's selling something that doesn't exist yet. He's not a doctor yet. He's just selling a bit of old nonsense, and he's doing it with great confidence, and he's occupying the role. And he's a performer, but he does, through the strength of his personality, he does create an aura of magic, and he might even sell somebody, you know, some bit of old water, and they might take it home and drink it and get better. So I think there is a real message in the battler, which is that you can fake it till you make it, and it seems there's something about the very, very beginnings of things where you're not ready, but you have to start anyway. And I like that as an archetype for the battler. And I guess that is still contained in the Magician as a card, but there's so much esoteric stuff, you know, as above, so below. I find that stuff just a bit, it's a bit heavy, quite frankly. Nocturnal, do tarot apps work? They kind of work. I mean, you can buy a tarot app and it will draw tarot cards at random for you. And I've got one on my phone for when I've lost or when I'm out without my tarot. they're not really very nice things. You know, tarot cards should be made of paper, I think. Carolyn, never liked Rachel's book. Everyone recommends, yeah. Accessible tarot. Yes, Nicholas, I think so. The names of the suits in the Marseille is not as airy-fairy. Oh, that's interesting. I can't, well, I can't go back to Pips as Bubble in Absolutely Fabulous once said. She said, since do you know Absolutely Fabulous and Bubble? She said, since she discovered seedless grapes, she said, I'll never go back to Pips. And I started with the RWS, and I will never go back to unillustrated Pips. So I'm quite ignorant about the much of the Tarot de Marseille, but I know the bits that I like. I love watching all that. Very interesting. This is the least trend channeling. This is... I don't understand that message, Aquarius Moon. This is the least trend channeling. Oh, Mosny, you watched Next Level Soul. I like it. There are some lovely, lovely guests on that channel. And I watch it or listen to it while I'm cooking the dinner. And it's quite heartwarming, isn't it? Oh, 999 listens to it too. Oh, the chariot represents me. I'm sorry, Karen. I read these comments rather quickly. And they're quite small. Quite small on my screen. Well, that's great. If the chariot represents you, that's extremely positive. And use that as a significator, and that'll really boost you. Oh, Nicholas is giving me a tip. Alex Ferrari. Are you recommending a book, Nicholas? Okay. L. Phillips. The Thoth comes with a blank card. Yes, 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 yes. I got, I don't know if you saw my video this week, my tarot haul. I got a funny old deck, which was printed in 2000, but I think it was designed before then. The Renata Anrat tarot, German one, and that had blank card. That had several blank cards in it. I had about 5 or 6. And I think tarots, yes, I think they should have blank cards. Pomegranate Publishing in Oregon. Okay. Pomegranate Publishing in Oregon. I like Oregon. Been there once. Linda says, do you have a Kickstarter of your book, Robert? No, I don't, Linda, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to London and see my co-writer. And I think we're going to make the Kickstarter the next priority. And then when the Kickstarter is kind of like up and running, then it means we've got to finish the book. Namosny, there's one in Dame Fortune's Wheel. Yes, I've heard about that. Yes, I like Dame Fortune's Wheel, but it's very particular, isn't it? They are currently republishing Edward Corey's 2 decks, which I don't know, but I will immediately look them up. Edward Corey's decks. Edward Gorey, okay. Gorey's decks. Are they RWS system, L. Phillips? Okay, you connect with that energy. Good. Excellent. And Robin French, I'm very well on a train, so my signal may cut off. We are winding down our lives here, ready to set off on our travels. How fantastic. Good luck, guys. Enjoy your travels. A combination deck. The Trickster God, exactly. Good Lord, that's true. Okay, I'm getting very good recommendations here from L. Phillips. Patrick Valenza. Patrick Valenza. Trionfi. Trifoni. Trifoni must be, is that Della Luna or already Fella Luna? Della Luna. Marseille trumps RWS minors. Linda, that sounds interesting. Well, we've all been there, haven't we? We like Ab Fab. Does the card back on a blank significator need to match the rest of the cards? That's a very good question, because in a way it's always face up, isn't it? 999. So it probably doesn't, but it would have to be. It would have, yeah. It would have to be. You'd want it. You'd want it to, and you'd want it to be the same size, wouldn't you? That's the Next Level podcast name, Alex Ferrari. Okay. Alex Ferrari is the channel maker for Next Level Soul. Oh, really? Okay. He's from Next Level Soul on YouTube. Would you go on his show if he asked you? I love that show. I don't know. I mean, those people are highly advanced psychics and mediums, aren't they? Not sure. I think he's quite cute if we're talking about the same person, but it's all remote, isn't it, really? So that doesn't get you anywhere. They're freestyle at best. You see, even without the trolls and even without the pressure of reading cards and trying to pass on messages from the guides and from the other side, it's actually quite a lot of concentration, isn't it, this evening? Because there's about 3 conversational threads going on the comments, but I'm much more relaxed than last week, guys. Much more relaxed. This is actually much more fun, and there's more people watching, so maybe this is the way ahead. They're freestyle at best. Typo. Okay, David Burnett, any tips for working with a card that you have trouble connecting with? For example, I struggle with Wheel of Fortune. Well, I think Wheel of Fortune, frankly, is a very tricky card, because, well, one thing you can do is like come online and ask me and your friends about cards. I think it's very good word of mouth, and it's better than books. The thing about Wheel of Fortune, David, is that the symbolism is very clear. You know, fortune is unpredictable, but it's not clear how you would use that in a reading, because the fact that fortune is unpredictable, how does that help you to know that? And also the question is, when that appears in a spread, does that mean there's going to be a turn for the better or a turn for the worse? You know, are you going up or are you going down? And I've had problems with it for many years, and in the end, I decided I have to come up with something that works for me. Now, I'll tell you about Wheel of Fortune. For me, Wheel of Fortune means the fact or the feeling of things being out of control. And so that's, in a sense, that's a very solid thing. And when I see Wheel of Fortune, I think, okay, I better concentrate. For example, that live stream where there was the soldier came on from Ukraine who was whatever, taking the piss, and there were lots of people wanting to know about their crush. I actually saw Wheel of Fortune at the beginning of that live stream, and it predicted that the audience would be out of control, and they were. So I think that's quite a good meaning for that. But what I would say, David, is that I'm not so into the esoteric thing of tarot that, you know, there is a truth. I think tarot is something that you make into your own personal tool. So I think The important thing is that you decide on a meaning that you're going to go with, at least for the next time, for the next week, month, year. You're going to say, okay, I am going to go with the meaning of Wheel of Fortune means the feeling of or the fact of things being out of control, and other possible meanings I'm going to leave behind. That's the meaning for me. And then you've made a contract between you and the intelligences in the other dimensions who are trying to talk to you. And you've said, that's what it means for me. So send it to me, send that card to me if you want to say that to me. And I think you can do that with the whole deck. The nice thing about tarot is that there is a tradition, and the tradition's good and interesting and useful, but you can modify it, Trionfi, okay, Trionfi della Luna, thank you. Original coloration, yes, he is cute. Alex is a roaster. I don't know that expression, but I'm going to use it. A roaster. I mean, I don't know what it means, Nicholas, but I'm going to use it anyway. Edward Gorey was a famously eccentric illustrator. He did the stage sets for Dracula. You may know his illustrations from Mystery on PBS. Wow, that sounds fantastic. Linda, I'm quite bored with live readings these days. I used to watch them all the time, but lately they all seem to be the same. Does Johnny love me? Should I change jobs? Yes. And Linda, the quality of the answer depends on the quality of the question, I think. Thank you, Aquarius. Yes. I think my feeling is that if there are intelligences, and if there are higher intelligences than us, and if there are higher dimensions than us, which there probably are, then it's probably just inconceivably more intelligent, inconceivably more sophisticated than us. And that's why you can just trust them to fix it. You can trust them to fix some kind of line of communication. Because if it works, which it does seem to work, it must be because there's an incredibly sophisticated line of communication to these other intelligences that we have no idea about at all. So we might as well just trust it. And I think we communicate with them on our own terms, in our own language, or with our own thoughts. And they deal with it because they're cleverer than us. Yeah. All are valid concerns, and I don't learn much about tarot from them. Yep. Yeah. Yes, Carolyn, thank you. Is there any good book on how to combine astrology with tarot? Kind of. There's a book called Numerology and the Divine Triangle. It's a numerology book which contains correspondences between astrology and tarot. So there you go, Numerology and the Divine Triangle. It's quite an old book, but it is still being reprinted because it's very, very popular. Just ordering Marseille weight. Good. I used to like roasted chicken. Okay, 909, gotta go. Thank you for being here. Okay. Maybe a desktop computer would make things see. Yeah, it's true. I used to do a desktop when I did Facebook, and it was easier. I'm just being a bit lazy setting up my computer with YouTube. Lol. L. Phillips, you think they're egregores we create? I shall have to enjoy that comment later at my leisure. I dislike those questions. Is he my twin flame? Will he come back to me after he cheated? I agree. I'm a bit bored with the concept of twin flame. Thanks, we'll definitely check that. Nemosny says, Tarot Decoded by Elizabeth Hazel is an incredibly good and detailed book on astrology in the tarot. Oh, that's nice. Thought forms. Oops. How do you feel about archetypes, Jung, and using them in readings? Does this take away from using intuition? Does it have a place? I think Jung is, I think without Jung, we wouldn't be reading tarot today. I think Jung, in a sense, made tarot, my theory is he made tarot more sort of intellectually respectable. Even though it was in some circles already intellectually respectable, but only in a very minority circles. I think everybody should know about archetypes. I think it's like knowing about anatomy, or knowing about psychology, or knowing about, you know, chemistry and biology. I think archetypes are part of human beings. I think Jungian psychology, I just think you can't go wrong, you know, knowing Jung. Like if you read the Emperor, for example, he's this, in a sense, this authority archetype, and I've always felt that you can what's the word? You can choose to embody an archetype like the Emperor, like draw him into your psychology, or you can just keep him out. And if you insist on keeping the Emperor outside of yourself, then authority is always going to be outside of you, and you won't become your own authority. And so, you know what I mean? I think that's very Jungian, and I think tarot does work in that kind of way. I don't think it's a specifically Jungian design system, but I think it does work in a sort of archetypal way, yes, certainly. And I don't think there's any clash with intuition. Oh, you're impressed that I pronounced Nemosny. Well, I won't pronounce it now. I might get it wrong. I don't know how. I can't remember how I pronounced it. A tea question. Lapsang Souchong, what brand do you enjoy best? Ah ha ha, Lapsang. I get my tea from London. There are specialty tea shops in Germany, and you go there and you buy the tea, and it's not particularly special, afraid. In Old Compton Street in London, there's a shop called the Algerian Coffee Stores. I think it's plural, stores, not store. It's a tiny shop. The Algerian Coffee Stores, or store, and they do mail order, and they do excellent tea, and it's not as expensive as going to Harrods or going to Fortnum and Mason's, going to one of these snobby shops. The snobby shops also give you good tea, but they make you pay more. I like going to Fortnum and Mason's in Piccadilly, but you spend more money. So if you go online and find the Algerian Coffee Store, some of their teas are very expensive, but some of them are not, and they will give you a good Lapsang Souchong. And yes, Lapsang is the best. Leonardo says, oh, it's nearly time to finish, everybody. I've been having so much fun today. Greetings from Brazil. I'm new to tarot. Love your videos and your spontaneous but informed approach to tarot and to making videos on YouTube. Very honest, no frills. Thank you. Thank you, Leonardo. Leandro. Leandro, you're a bit late. It's coming up to 7 o'clock GMT, and that's when I'm here from. I've been going for an hour, so I'm going to finish soon. It's been great, everybody. Good stuff, Linda. I am Jungian basically, but I don't study Jung. Because I don't. But yes, that's a much better answer than the answer I gave. Carolyn, Tarot Life Lessons by Julia Gordon Brenner. Okay, thank you very much. Well, when we get to read your book, probably in about a year's time, but I will do a Kickstarter super soon. I pronounce it perfectly when I'm too scared to pronounce it. David, don't they hit you with customs sending the tea over to the EU? Will I come to London and buy my tea when I'm there? Karen, found it, thanks so much. Good. Anglo, recommend a book, which is the one to choose. Elfitz, I'd love the book to get Scarlet imprint treatment, of course. I'm not quite sure whether I have enough credibility for that. A great live. Thank you, Nicholas. And thank you. Oh dear, I'm too scared to say your name now because I said it right once. Scarlet imprint in London. Yes, very good. Memosini. Red Wing, thanks, Robert. This has been a particularly enjoyable, interesting evening. I agree, it's been particularly good. It's been much more relaxed because I haven't been trying to read a bicycle and cook the dinner at the same time. It has been quite mentally taxing. So guys, I won't be back next week. I will, I don't know whether anyone ever reads it, but I do occasionally put posts on the community bit of YouTube. I plan on doing something in March, my next live stream. And when I do a live stream, I will give it at least 6 days, 5-6 days notice. I will schedule it, and the scheduled video will sort of show up on the wall somewhere. L. Phillips, thanks for the love. Best one yet. Thank you very much. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Oh, thanks for the live. The live and the love. Love in the live. Okay, so yeah, I plan on being back with this stuff in March. We've all got to go. Bye. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye. See you in March, or see you in my videos. Bye. Bye, Suzanne. Oh. Yes. Thanks, David. Bye, Leandro. Bye, Zaranglo. Bye, Nocturnal. Anyone else? Bye. Thank you for tuning in.